Hello everyone and welcome to the Apex Online Racing GT3 Elite League on PC. This is round number 10 and we're here at Fuji. I think it's the first for Apex Online Racing Project Cars 2 GT3 League to race at Fuji as well, so it should be an interesting one. Weird bug actually, notice top left, I've already set a time even though I've only done one outlap. I'm not sure how that even works, but there we go. I've randomly set a time somehow. Even so, we're on a fast lap here. This is going to be our fastest lap, believe it or not. As we come through this right-hander, we try and stay tight here so we get a good angle for the left-hand corner, but we ran a bit wide there at the exit, so it's just compromised us a little bit. As you notice, we missed the apex slightly. Even so, we power on through there as we head towards a very tight chicane. Now, I do like Fuji. I've raced here a couple of times on different games, including Project Cars 2, and the track suits me very well. It suits my driving style in terms of the flow, you know, trail braking quite a lot. And the way you've got to modulate the throttle in this section particularly, you know, coming through here, you've got to be very, very careful. As you see here, you've got to avoid that curb on the left, it will drag you in, and coming up the hill, you've got to be very careful again. The car can oversteer quite easily. You just see Mount Fuji in the background there. As we continue on towards the last corner, many racing lines here, there's not just one single one. As we go tight, Colonel McCoy went a bit wider to come in, but we're going to get a bit of slipstream here down the straight, which is very nice. For us really to get our lap time that little bit quicker as we head down. So we're going to gain about half a tenth here, maybe even a tenth from the slipstream. All very good as we head towards the line. It is a 137.920. Of course, I've not done that much practice, but Popsu gets the pole position with a 36.8. Very well done. Then Jardier, Alexis, and then I'm in fourth with default setup. That's not too bad. And to prove its default setup, and I've said this many times, here you go. So you can see the downforce there. You can see everything is the same. Tyres have changed. The duct openings have changed. The main reason being on some tracks you have to. Suspension all the same, dampers all the same, and then we get to fuel's changed, and the radiator openings changed, and the engine braking. Obviously the engine braking so I don't spin, because the one thing with the R8 default setup is any lower and the car just spins or loses its rear end, and we found that at Road America quite a lot until Vernux gave us a little tip there to put it to 7, and that worked wonders. We've not had issues with the rear end since. So look at that on the TV camera, it looks amazing as we get ready to start Fuji. So it's anywhere from this point he can accelerate. There you go, he goes, we go as well. So we get the jump on Adalexis there. So we move up a position already into third place as we head towards the first corner. Adalexis just coming back a little bit. We are at altitude still, so the turbo cars do have a bit of an advantage coming into this corner now. Just got round there. We just keep that position. Luckily or not, that was very close, but through we go. And we've got to fight Jardier and Popsy. We can still win the championship, but Jardier has to have a nightmare, and we've got to beat Popsy to get second. I think we're 4 points behind Popsy. So Jardier goes wide, so I'm thinking, hello, I'll have this. Look at all this racing space. Oh, we get very close coming through here. Oh, it's tight, it's tight. I'm trying to give him just enough room, and he's got the inside. So I'm going to try and go for the cut back a little bit if possible. Don't have the chance. Jardier slows down on the apex. That's absolutely fine as we head out of there. What a cracking race already as we head towards the chicane. It gets very tight here. Look at the TV camera, it looks amazing with all the cars coming down towards the chicane. I did wonder whether Adalexis was going to go for that. It doesn't go for it in the end, but trying to go around the outside of the chicane, so I've got to give him a little bit of room, but then I'm past, so that's all very well and good. And Jardier and Popsy just get a better run out of that, because I had to give a little bit of space there as we come into this right-hander. Again, I had to give a little bit of space there, just put his nose in as we continue on. My teammates in there as well, coming into this left-hander. So through there we go, and we're just losing touch with Jardier and Popsy a little bit at the moment, trying to defend this position as we come onto the straights. We're going to put the power down. Of course, we're running 6 downforce on the rear because that's what default setup has. I think a lot of people are running a lot less than I am, so on the straight I am going to struggle, whereas where I tried to make the move on Jardier, there I'm potentially having an advantage. So Adalexis coming down. I don't go defensive here because I'm hoping to do what I did on the first lap. It's just to keep going round the outside because I can brake later because I have more downforce. But I just brake a little bit too late. But yeah, Adalexis gets that position unfortunately because I outbroke myself. My teammate's on the right hand side, so I'm going to let him go in a second. So I just brake a little bit more, let him go, and then through we go. Want him to go, go on, push, push, come on the steerage, go, 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 go. And then we've got Nick Meadow behind, and then also Andrex and Relo's in there as well. So obviously that GTR is going to be bloody quick on the straights, being turbocharged, and Nick Meadow goes for it and a move down the inside. Just give him enough room there. Always got to be aware of what cars are doing at Fuji. As I say, there's many different racing lines. It's not necessarily the one you're taking, somebody else is going to take. As we push on now, we need to get past these guys again to really have a hope of this championship. We brake very late here, nearly hit our teammate. Look how close we got there. That was unbelievable stuff. But I knew we were going to stop. I definitely knew we were going to stop. But even so, we continue racing and going around this section of corners. See Jardier and Popsy just pulling away a little bit here as we come into this left-hander. So we're going to be better in the corners, of course, because we've got a bit more downforce than everybody else as we come into the last corner. So we're trying to go for a wide line this time to really push ourselves off the corner. Try and get that momentum off the corner to use the slipstream and potentially overtake. But we're going to struggle because the downforce, unfortunately. So you can just see at the moment the Starrich is closing on Adalexis, just pulling away from us a little bit. That's the downforce impact that we've got. But now he goes into the dirty air, so I'm going to be now catching Adalexis. Look at the speed now we're catching. Unbelievable. I'm going to go to the right hand side, just not close enough to make that move. So I just make sure that I'm going to take this corner effectively. So we continue on in this race. This is a long video, by the way. I don't know if you've seen the length of it, so you know, make sure you've got some food there, or popcorn or drinks or whatever you want to do to watch this, because it's a good race. As you see, Leon was on the left hand side in that Cadillac, really struggling there. As we continue on now down this right-hander. So is Alexis going to go for a move on the Starrich? No, he's not for now. As we then come into this left-hander. Look at that. He tried to go for the cut back there, and the Starrich stopped on the apex. That's all very well and good. So we're going to have a run on Adalexis now, coming towards the chicane. Can we get past? Can we get past? Look at that. We've just got the ability to turn in that little bit more with this downforce. Going down to the braking zone. Who's going to brake later? It's about the same. Adalexis came off the brakes a little bit there to try and get the advantage. Just cuts me off a little bit there. And through he goes. Keeps that position. All very well and good as we keep pushing on. What a crazy start to this race. We're on lap number 3 technically, because we had our warm-up as well. But coming into here, ooh, we're all good. Nick Meadow and Andretti, we're going to worry about them a little bit, because on the straights, Nick Meadow is going to fly in that GTR. Obviously, it's the beast, of course. The GTR, very well known for its top speed. You've seen that in real life when it's at Monza, for example. It absolutely flies past some cars. You can see here now the slipstream train beginning again. And we continue on towards the line. Start lap number, technically 4, number 5 officially. Popsu still leading the way. Jardier still in second place as we head towards the first corner. Look how much we gain under braking. That extra downforce helps us so much in the braking zone. It's kind of nice, to be honest, as we continue out of that corner. We need to try and think of a place to overtake. Now, to me, it's going to be in a corner, one of the technical corners, because there's so many racing lines. We can pick and choose where we want to go and use that to our advantages. And the Starrich just runs a little bit wide there. Of course, the odd mistake running wide, everybody's happy with. It's if you constantly run wide over the white lines, people then get issues. I'm never going to report my teammate, obviously, but that's just a mistake, of course. Through the left-hander, look at Adalexis going for the cut back there, and I think he's got a slight run on the Starrich as we now head towards the chicane once again. Is he going to get the move done? Look at that. He's trying to look to the inside now, but the Starrich defending that well into the braking zone. He's going to try what he did to me this time, but the Starrich stays there. So, ooh, Adalexis gets it on the inside of the chicane. Look at that. That's an unbelievable move. Great effort by Adalexis there. Up to 3rd position. We're still obviously pushing, making sure we're close here. We've got Nick Meadow again. We've still got to worry about Nick Meadow behind. Coming into here. You just saw the rear come out a little bit, and it came out a little bit more, and I've spun. Oh no, I've had to put automatic clutch on because I have no clutch at the moment. I'm only using 2 pedals, not 3. But we spin the car around, and then we're going to kick off again. So hopefully I'll turn that automatic clutch off. There we go. Thank God for that. I thought hopefully I didn't race with that on. So we're down to 14th position. It's gone from bad to worse. No, we've gone from 3rd to 5th to 14th. So, we know we've got some pace here. So, you see, I checked my tyres now. At this point, I'm thinking, oh, God, I've overheated some of my tyres. I don't know if you saw the bottom left tyre there. Basically, it overheated. And that's the reason why. Because the difference between slicks and hards here was, I found out afterwards, slicks was overheating slightly. And hards was obviously getting them to heat up in time. The race is on a time progression, of course. So, later on in the race, potentially, softs are going to come back to us as we're just going to pass Oblitor now, because I think he's had a bit of an issue with Steve there. So we gained another position already. So yeah, there was a discussion about softs and hards between people. I chose softs just because it just seemed right because it was December, but yeah, apparently not. They overheat. So we're just trying to go on Steve on the inside here. So this is very technical to do. Obviously the downforce helps us massively here. So I'm going to try and stay on the outside. There's actually no contact there. It looks a little bit like there's contact, but there is no contact. We both avoid each other as we're going to head down towards the chicane now. And hopefully we've kept this 12th position, but we're side by side at the moment. Where is Steve? Look in our rear view mirror. Where is he? We still can't see him. There he is. So we're going to get this position just through we go. We just left him enough space on the inside, but he decided to brake there. So next up is Iceberg in a Renault RS01. We've not seen that. Iceberg reset his car just before this round. I'm not sure whether to try it or not, just to give it a whirl, but it's obviously doing very well in it. It's a bit better than the Z4. Obviously the Z4, not as great of a car, definitely down there in terms of performance in the grand scheme of it. We've also got Rick in front of Iceberg, and then we've got Zal, and then it'll be Andrex next after that, I think. So lots of guys there. So if you see, I'm looking at my tyres in because I'm dead conscious now, and you see the tyre temperature on the rear left has gone down to 219. I think that's like the maximum you really want. I don't fully know the tyre temperature range in this game, but even so, that seems just about right. As you see, we've now merged the clips up a bit, caught up to Iceberg, and now it's to move on to try and get past Iceberg. Obviously we don't know much about the Renault RS01 in Project Cars 2, so we've got to just learn as we go here. Where's Iceberg going to be strong? Where's he going to be weak? Where can we get the advantage? So through here we go, and already we've caught up a little bit there in that corner. Iceberg runs a little bit wide here, so I'm thinking, oh, let's go a bit cheeky, let's get down on the inside. So we just take a bit of a gap there, and we're going to go for the cutback this time because we see Iceberg's already ahead. Try and go for the cutback. Look how tight we take it. There we go. That's what you want to do. So we're now going to be side by side with Iceberg. And we've got Leon again, lapping again. Leon really struggling in that Cadillac. Continue on now towards the chicane. Look at this, side by side. Who's going to win in the braking zone? So I'll pull an Ad Alexis. Look at this, we're already ahead. So we take that position up to 11th place. And through we go. Hardway unfortunately left the session there, and Ad Alexis with a bit of a funny comment. That was from qualifying, I believe. And if you look up ahead, unfortunately that's Mr. Van Omen who's spanned. So I see him edge forward. I think he edged forward slightly. He might not have done, I'm not sure. But I was always going behind, always go away from the car basically. I didn't expect him to reverse, and yes, we survived that. Unfortunate for Mr. Van Omen. He's had a pretty good season. He's been up there on occasions. We had a bit innocent at Silverstone, but even so, he fully apologised for that. Everyone makes mistakes, but we continue on and we advance a bit further. So we've caught up to Rick and Zal a little bit here. We've dropped Iceberg a little bit, as you see bottom right. It's 1.8 seconds that gap now, and we're going to be chasing hard to get 9th and 8th position as we head towards the first corner. And in we go. You see these two fighting, so it allows us to catch up very quickly. The nice thing about having so much downforce, by the way, is I can use first gear, and I use it to my advantage here. So when I get to that first corner, if I drop it to first, the whole of the rear rotates a little bit, but because I've got so much downforce, it sticks. So it's kind of nice. I can get round that corner fairly quickly. Into this right-hander, I'm thinking let's get a bit cheeky again this time, but I'm not quite close enough. So Rick covers that off. Through we go, just run a little bit wide because of the dirty air into this left-hander. And we nearly cut that a bit too much, which is why we had to straighten up a little bit. Cost us a little bit of time, but we carry on chasing these two guys, Lamborghini and Ferrari, towards the chicane. So you can see up ahead as well, we've got, I'm not actually sure who that is, Fab Iceman attacking Andrex there. Fab Iceman started at the back of the field, so he's had a good job, done a good job as well in this race, working his way up through the field. We helped him a little bit with our spin, of course, as did Mr. Van Omen. But as we carry on now towards his left-hander, Zal bits sketchy under brakes. I'm taking, I don't know if you noticed, I'm taking that corner slightly differently now. I'm checking my tyre temperatures afterwards to make sure I'm not pushing too hard into that corner. Yes, you could brake harder into it, but brake harder, bigger brake temps, means tyre temps go up. I don't want to do that, which is why I'm taking it more casual at that point in that corner. So we're in the slipstream now, thankfully, so we do get a little bit of a tag along towards the line. And let's see if we can make any moves on Rick as we head towards the first corner. what we're going to do, just show our nose a little bit, just say hello to Rick. We're here, hello, we're coming by hopefully soon, let us go please. But I do want to fight. I don't mean just let me go, I mean I want to fight. I'm here, I'm going to come past at some point. So I just showing my nose. Hopefully gets the driver a little bit nervous, maybe puts him off a little bit. As you see, Rick runs wide. I don't know whether that did cause it or not, but we get the position all the same. We'll do anything to try and get the positions because, of course, we've not got the top end speed because of our default downforce. I know some people don't like the fact I run default setups, or largely default anyway. Obviously, I change a couple of things like the ducks and stuff because I have to. In other races, Dubai, I had to, otherwise I couldn't race because I'd get too much damage. But I know people don't like that I run it, but I could spend days on setups and I don't really like doing that. I just want to turn up, race and have fun. And look, we're having fun. We're 15 minutes into a video, nearly 16 minutes. We're not even halfway through the race yet and we've had overtaking galore in this race. So, you know, I'm not at a huge disadvantage. I am at a disadvantage. Potentially with a setup, I would be fighting with Jardier and Popsu, but I could be here all day trying to do that. So let's continue on now. Let's try and attack Zal in this Ferrari 488 GT3. Look how close we get. So he gets a better run off the corner because I stayed a bit tight, but I'm trying to get as tight as I can to keep in that slipstream. Again, checking the tyre temps out. I am still worried about that. I don't want to spin the car if I push too much. Bigger brake temps, as I say, means more tyre temps. I don't want that to happen. The track is cooling slowly as well, so it means I can push a little bit more than I could at the start of the race. Really unfortunate that that spin did happen because I think I would still be fighting with Alexis at this point. As you see there, that's the turning I was on about where I get first gear. I'll just get an extra bit of turning. Very handy in this car because I can gain on people in that sense as we come to this left-hander. I was always very quick in this left-hander. Look how much I gain on Zal there. That downforce really helps. It helps here as well, so I think, hello, are you going to leave a gap here? No, he doesn't. And then just a little bit after he does, but at that point I'd already decided where I wanted to go. Had to back out of it and into this left-hander. So through there we go. Continue on. And once again, we're trying to look for a place. So obviously a corner, so potentially where we overtook Rick, or perhaps where you overtook Steve would be a good place. Oh, of course, Iceberg with the cutback, that was kind of handy as well. The chicane is difficult. Alexis obviously kept a couple of positions from doing it in the chicane, or gaining positions. Obviously, you got my teammate, but it's a tricky one. That you are at risk of contact. Continue on. I see Leon is there again. He's just doing some testing in that Cadillac. I'm not sure that Cadillac's very good at all, but he's just going to stick to the left-hand side. Fair play to Leon here, letting us through there as we continue our battle with Ascaro Zal. Oh, I don't think he's with Ascaro anymore, actually. He's just Zal, because he's not got Ascaro in his name. We continue on. And here we go. Slipstream train. So he's trying to make me lose that slipstream. Initially it's fine because he'll pull away, but I'll start to bring him back. Weirdly, the balance of performance at this track was weirdly good. I say weirdly good because I wasn't expecting it to be good. We're still at altitude, quite a high altitude, not like the highest, but like 500 odd feet or whatever it is, or meters or whatever the hell's on the forum. But yeah, it wasn't too bad, so it's kind of nice really. It's kind of the balance of performance I expected. GTR at the end of the straights is the one picking up all the speed. You know, initially turbo cars are getting the advantage. In the slipstream we slowly catch up because of our setup, etc. It's kind of nice. It's kind of how I would want the game to be. So, you know, good job here, SMS. As you see, Zal just makes a mistake into that corner. The rear went on him a little bit, but he's going to have to pace out of that corner. So we're going to try and go for the cutback. I already know I'm going to try and go for this. So as you see, Zal runs wide here. He could possibly come back, but he doesn't. So I'm just going to scare him a little bit. And he manages to keep that for now. Look how close we get. We can get pretty close to people and not touch them. That's the kind of nice thing I like about my driving style versus other people's, is I can get close and not touch, whereas a lot of other people, oh, look how close that is, can get close and then end up touching, and it's really frustrating. But at least I'm not causing damage. That's the main thing. So through there we go. Take a different line to Zal. Again, we're trying to protect our brake temperatures, our tyre temperatures into that corner. Zal again, I think he's struggling with his rears a little bit. They may be overheating as we come out of that corner. So we're a bit closer to Zal this time. Potentially we could have a move into the first corner. Let's see what happens. You just see he pulled away initially. We're now beginning to start close that gap again, closing him in. And it's only slowly, of course, because I have got the higher downforce, but you can sort of see it. There you go, and then into the braking zone. We broke slightly earlier this time. We're going to try and take a wider line. First gear, look at that turn that we get. Accelerate out of that. Look at the amount of time we can gain just from doing that little quirky technique. It's very handy to know. Again, we're going to show our nose here. We're going to try and do what we did to Rick. Show our nose, try and scare Zal into a mistake, and then overtake, and then we can start charging up the field a little bit more. So again, I'm looking to take this gap, but Zal just covers it off there. He must have seen me try this on a couple of guys already, but it didn't work this time. So into this left-hander, initially trying to go for the cutback. Zal keeps it tight. We're going to have to try and go around the outside here. Zal defending very well here. Really big shout out for this defending. It's good stuff. Good racing this as we head towards the chicane once again. On the inside this time. We've managed to outbrake him and we've got it. We've just got it. So what we're going to try and do there is stay slow on the apex as we did. And then continue out there. The Ferrari got a better exit speed, so I'm going to give him room on the inside there. I've got the outside, so I can just the outside into inside. It's a bit complicated with that set of corners, so I can just keep that position. And Rick is now all over the back as well, so hopefully this will help me as we continue out of this last corner and continue on with the race. So it's going to go straight towards the inside, trying to avoid that slipstream for the initial get-go, because obviously the more boost he gets initially, it'll get closer and closer quicker. I don't weave. I don't believe in the weaving thing. I think you should make one move and one move only, not to continually weave left and right. So I'm sticking to the right hand side. Where's Zal going to go? It goes to the left, so I can go to the left a little bit more, leaving room on the left hand side into the braking zone, and I know I can keep this. Just got a bit of a wiggle there on with the rear. But we've kept that position for now, thank God. So we've got to really push now, try and get away from Zal in this middle section, because this is where our downforce comes into play. Through there we go, absolutely no problem. Look at the gap we gained straight away. So then into here, so we can just monitor the throttle, try and use the grass a little bit to pull us around. Any little bit of strategy or quirkiness that we can do to gain an advantage, that's what we'll try and do. Obviously advantage within the rules. So through there we go, rear getting a bit slidey, so I'm going to start worrying about tyre temps if that is continuing to happen. But we continue on towards the chicane now. Got a bit of a gap, 0.6 of a second. I'm hoping Rick really starts attacking Zal so that I can start to pull away and try and catch up to Andrex, because we are catching up to Andrex over those laps. Andrex has slowly started looking bigger and bigger on the screen. So you know, we could end up bringing these guys with us, but we could have a good battle with Andrex as well. So continuing on, and Zal's still in this slipstream, which is a worry because these guys can overtake me in that slipstream very easy. So coming up to this last corner, again I want to try and stay tight as possible. Through there we go, try and get the best run out, straight in the corner and head towards the line with, you know, half a second up on our previous lap as well. So this isn't a slow lap by any means. As we continue towards the line, Rick very close to Zal there, as we saw on the TV screen, heading towards the line. It's going to be a 1:39.9? Nope, 1:40.0. So yeah, we've got a bit of time still in there. So we all go to the left. That gap that I built up initially in the first part of the the middle sector of the last lap obviously helped me massively. And look at this, we're already 3-4 temps up again. So if we keep pushing like this, we should be able to break away into the left-hander. Oh, excuse me, I've been commentating non-stop here, 23 minutes. Believe it or not, I've been commentating on videos all day, because this is your holiday videos, of course. I'm producing as many as I can, so they come out on the schedule, and hopefully they are coming out on the schedule, and this is coming out on the right date. So we continue on. Look, we're checking tyres, 219 on the front, 208 on the rear now, so we know we're not doing too bad here. I don't mind the fronts heating up a little bit more, because they're not going to cause oversteer. We'll get understeer and lots of issues there, but I'm not too bothered about that as much. But we are pulling away, thank God, because we really need to push forward now. Try and get as many positions back as we can. Make those places up and get as many points as we can. You just see Jardier is actually in the lead now on top left. Popsu is in second place. Oh, a big mistake there into that corner. So that's where it's not a tyre issue, that's just the braking issue. And Zal is really, really close, so we're going to have to go defensive here again. So we're going to go straight to the right hand side. Try and break that up a little bit, that slipstream, and stick to the right hand side. So we're making our indications very well known very early on, so Zal can then pick what he wants to try and do to try and overtake me. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? And unfortunately, because I went left a little bit, Zal sees there's a gap there on the right, so I'm going to have to brake and really try and outbrake him here. So I do outbrake him a little bit. I did give him room on the inside, but because I outbroke him massively there, I kept that position just. It was a blimmin' good effort by Zal that, to use that slight gap that I'd made myself by mistake to try and make that opportunity to overtake. Really well done there. That's a sign of good racing. Going for a nice gap there, a gap that appeared, but is very clear what your intentions are, and then obviously I can make my decision off that. Quintus left-hander, we've just pulled that gap again a little bit to Zal as we continue on with the race. So as you can see, we're catching up to Andrex slowly but surely. We're catching up to Andrex as we keep pushing on towards this chicane now. And the gap extending again, 0.6 seconds. That's the sort of gap we want, because last time it was around that. We managed to take basically a normal racing line at the first corner and not have too many issues with defending. But Zal gained a little bit there in that chicane. Through we go. Just a little mistake again. So Zal's going to be pretty close to us on this next lap. On the on this lap on the start-finish straight. I believe Andrex has got damage, by the way, if you're wondering why we're catching him fairly quickly. I think he may have had a slight nudge with somebody. A clean racer. We saw that Red Bull Ring. Andrex was amazing to race at Red Bull Ring. We had some cracking battles there. I tried everything to overtake, just couldn't quite do it, but it was good fun in the rain. Really good fun. Unfortunate ending to that race with the lag, but even so, it was cracking, and I did let him go there. But even so, we've got Zal now, having a cracking battle with Zal. Where's he going to go this time? I try and make my indications clear now that I'm staying right and stay tight to the white line. So I keep that defensive position this time. I slow down completely on the apex. That's a really good defensive strategy, right? I want to explain. When you're on the inside and they're going to try and go for the cutback, because that's what Zal was attempting there a little bit. He went right behind me. Just slow the car down. They have to wait then. They have to wait or go round, and at that point, by the time they've gone round, you've already gone. It's a really good defensive strategy. You just slow down on the car. Don't slam on, but you just slow. You be predictable with your apex speed, and you can really defend those lines. As you see, Zal went tight there. I went wide. I've got a really good run out of that corner, so I'm going to extend this advantage over Zal a little bit. 0.5 seconds. Is going to go to 0.6. It's not, unfortunately. And Andrex again getting ever closer, but Rick goes for a move on Zal. I don't know if you just saw that in the rear view. So that's going to give me the gap I need to get away, because look at that, they're still fighting now. 0.8, 0.7, and we advanced a little bit further on, so obviously we went away from that, and we've caught up to Andrex. So we continue on. So we obviously the BMW we know is going to be strong on the straights, but Andrex actually says over Discord, Tidge, you can go at the first corner, which is very nice of him. Now you just see him flash there a little bit. It's all very well and good for me to go at the first corner, but I'm running default setup and I'm in a naturally aspirated car on quite a high track, so I'm actually losing ground here. And he flashes me again, flashes me a couple of times. I am going to go for the overtake, don't worry. And I know what he's going to do. He's going to let off there, so he just lets off and lets me go. That's really kind of Andrex. I actually outbrake myself just from the fact that I was just slightly offline here, and rear came out a little bit. Really kind of Andrex to let me go there. Would have loved a good battle as well, because it had been interesting, but I know Andrex was suffering with damage, so big shout out to Andrex for that. He said that was for Red Bull Ring, so obviously I let him go on the last corner, but I felt I was only right at Red Bull Ring. It was a bit unfair for me to get a position because the game decided it wanted to place his car inside mine, bizarrely. But even so, we continue racing, and we've got a 10-second gap now to 6th place, so 17 minutes, 10-second gap. It's going to be bloody hard, I can tell you that much. So we're going to advance a lot further on in the race, and look at that gap. It's 5 seconds. Now, Fab Iceman's made up a few positions. I'd been putting in some blistering laps. So if you look down at the bottom left on the lap times, lap 28, 29, 30, they're all low 39s, and I've been on for 38s for the last few laps. Basically, the soft tyre is coming into its own now. It's got cool enough where you can really push. So I was pushing like crazy, and literally, irrespective of what was happening, I wanted a 38 on the board. I've only got a 39.129, and every time I started the lap, I was like, damn, could have got a 38 there, could have got a 38 there. So we are now going to push like hell on this last lap. As you see, the gap is less than 5 seconds. In literally about 13 minutes of racing, we've pulled 5 seconds, so that shows you the pace we had in this car. We were absolutely flying at this point in the race, and it shows that we potentially could have had 3rd place. We were matching the leader's pace at this point, but we're going to go for a 1 minute 38 second lap now, while I say a few thank yous. So thank you to the commentators first of all. So I don't know if you watched the live streams of the races or not, but King Kodiak and Fizzy have been awesome with their commentary. I've watched every single race, and it's been enjoyable to watch every single race as well. In fact, one of my work colleagues stayed late and watched one of the races because they had to with the job I do. Yeah, it gets complicated, but they had to stay late, and yeah, they watched it, believe it or not. It was quite weird. So yeah, big thank you to those, because the commentary is harder than it looks. Like, I've done commentary on some races, of course, mainly GT Sport and GT6. It's very hard to do live commentary, and I'm obviously going to do live streams when I get my internet sorted, when I move house. But even so, yeah, really great job to those guys and the organisers as well. I know there's a lot of organisation that goes into it, and lots of people are involved with that. So great job to everybody there. Great job, and congratulations to Jardier, because Jardier has won the race and also won the championship, so fair play, cracking racing. Never really got to race Jardier as such. We did a little bit at Dubai, but I think if we had the patch that we got now, potentially that would have been a really close race. Congratulations to Popsy as well for that 2nd position, and I've made the final podium. Thanks very much for 5 aces to Starrich as well for teaming up with me. We had a cracking little championship there. We came 2nd in manufacturers. I've obviously come 3rd in the championship. We never got to practice with each other just due to timings and such, but great effort by him, and yeah, thanks for being my teammate. And thanks for you guys supporting me and watching these races, of course, because without your support and, you know, just the enjoyment you get. So I do see some of the comments, and I receive messages about the racing as well, and people are offering to help with setups and all sorts. Big thank you to you guys. It's really much appreciated, because, you know, without your support I wouldn't make these videos, and I'm hoping you've enjoyed these videos as well. I'm not sure if I can make the next season, only because the GT Sport calendar has now put their races on Wednesdays, frustratingly, but we'll see what happens. As you see there, I got a 38.881, and I'd say I hope you enjoyed all these races, and my racing and my etiquette in racing, of course. But thanks everyone for support, or the commentators, or organisers, or anybody else I may have forgotten. And thanks very much for watching. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. There's a video playlist there if you want to watch another Project Cars 2 race, especially with the Apex Online Racing League. But that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you next time.